Let us pray. Almighty God, we humbly beseech Thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in Thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and our good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people, and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, in view of time constraints, we will not have roll call today. And I don't have any message from His Excellency the President. Neither do I have a formal communication today. And so we'll move straight to item 5. Correction of votes and proceedings and official reports. We will start with the correction of votes and proceedings of Monday, 22nd July, 2024. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, page 9, page 10, page 11, page 12. Yes,
Madam Speaker,
Honourable Member for Tamale South.
Madam Speaker, page 12 on the Affirmative Action Gender Equality Bill 2024, where we deleted achievement and inserted attainment. It was for the second Deputy Speaker who was presiding to direct that the draft person will take care of it in every other clause where achievement was used to be substituted with attainment. And then, Mr. Speaker, we said that clause 1 was now to be read together. So there was no clause 1 and 2. 2 was to become part of 1, which is the object of the act. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Table office, kindly cross-check from the official report, and if what the honourable member has stated, please capture it correctly. Page 13, page 14. Sorry, the end is at page 13. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, again 13, item 6, clause 3. So the clause 3 was now to become the 2. In the rewording, let it be captured. Thank you in the draft part. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Table office, kindly take note and do the writing. Honourable members, in the absence of any further corrections, the votes and proceedings of the 26th sitting dated Monday, not Tuesday, Monday, 22nd July 2024, are adopted as the true record of proceedings. Honourable members, after the corrections of votes and proceedings, it's important that I correct some reference I made yesterday. We laid a paper, and the paper was referred to the Committee on Budget. I then, after that, cross-checked from the new standing orders, and I think the proper committee should be that of Finance, not the Budget Committee. Not the Budget Committee, it should be the Finance Committee. You recall, I added that the Budget Committee members should join the Finance Committee instead of it being the other way around. And so I went back to read the standing orders, and I saw that the contents of the paper that was laid had to do with fiscal issues. And if it is to deal with fiscal issues, then the proper place should be the Committee on Finance, not that of Budget. That is why I'm drawing your attention that, with your kind permission, I will give the directive for it to be referred to the Finance Committee, not the Budget Committee. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, I refer to Order 235, Budget Committee. The Budget Committee comprises a chairperson, a ranking member, and not more than 13 other members. 2. The Budget Committee shall collaborate with the Minister responsible for Finance and the Office of the President in the initiation, formulation, and implementation of the national budget. 3. The Budget Committee shall consider and report to the House on the medium-term expenditure framework, the Appropriations Bill, a report laid before Parliament of off-budget expenditure, and consider the annual budget and determine whether the annual budget gives effect to Chapter 6. Mr. Speaker, the key points relate to Item 4. The Budget Committee may request, Mr. Speaker, analyze and report to the House the impact of tax waivers on the economy and report any other functions assigned by Parliament. Mr. Speaker, tax waivers are a function of budget. Tax waivers are a function of budget. The impact of a tax waiver will reduce revenue or increase revenue or hold the revenue neutral. The import here is for the Budget Committee to assess the impact of these tax waivers. There is nowhere in the functions of the Finance Committee that talks of budget tax waivers. Mr. Speaker, you can talk about the overall fiscal impact. But my view, Mr. Speaker, at the minimum, the Finance Committee must sit together with the Budget Committee, because the Budget Committee will have to assess the impact of these tax waivers on the national budget. For example, today, the Minister responsible for Finance is to present a media review, and we will have estimations of revenues. Now, we are being called upon to exempt some of this in the form of tax waivers. The impact will be on the budget. And the Budget Committee is the only committee with that mandate to assess the impact of these tax waivers. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg to say that the Budget Committee must sit together with the Finance Committee in approving these tax waivers. Otherwise, you approve one thing, and then the impact of this budget, of these tax waivers, will not be known. Will not be known. And if we are interested in the impact or the analysis of the entire tax waivers, I humbly submit that the Budget Committee must be the one leading this, and the Finance Committee must support them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minority Leader, that is an excellent submission, but you yourself read the standing orders. And so, if you read the one on the Finance Committee, 2262, says the committee shall have A, referred to it, matters that relate to monetary and fiscal policies, loans and financial transactions generally. Refer, that is the underlying word. And so if I'm to refer a matter, which committee am I to refer it to? Finance Committee. But the Budget Committee may, as you refer to, analyze and report to the House the impact of tax waivers on the economy. And so if I am to perform my duty of referring matters, definitely following the standing orders, I have to refer it to the Finance Committee. But if your call is that, and I have no problem with that call, that we should also allow the Budget Committee to join the Finance Committee to consider the referral. I have no problem with that. That I can do the referral. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, you've nailed the point, and I will not belabor, except to say that it is only the Finance Committee that has its mandate well engraved in the Constitution. And it's clear. If at any point in time a referral is made and we see the need to add leadership of a particular committee to assist by way of some technical support, that is fine. If that call comes, I would support it. But I do not want us that would come and hunt us, and we think that we should get the leadership of the Budget Committee on, so be it. I would want to agree to your ruling so that we can make progress. I thank you.
So I direct that the matter be referred to the Finance Committee, and the leadership of the Budget Committee should join the Finance Committee to analyze and report a comprehensive issue, including, yes, Honorable Mama Yarga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we do accept your ruling, but also because of the leadership that you played, the leadership role you played in crafting these rules, and for the purposes of precedent, and given the opportunity that this matter has raised for us to look at these same rules. If you look at the rules, it says that the budget
actually, we're taking note of it.
Yes.
I don't want to belabor it.
Yes.
We delayed in publishing the final one because of the delay in the composition of the membership of the committees. If not, we would have come out with the final rendition where the issue you are trying to raise has been taken care of. So, members, let's move on. But there is some new development in the front bench of the majority caucus. I can see two ministers in front. That is not normal. We have one minister to sit in front to present a paper. I have seen another minister, particularly the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, also seated in front. Are you... Honorable members, I think the Attorney General is not to be taken on. This is unknown to many, and so please don't see it as any attempt to assume any power. Yes, so let's move on. Honorable members, I think at the conclave, we agreed that a few papers be laid. And so, with your kind permission, we'll move to public business. Public business. At the commencement of public business, yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, shall we proceed to other paper addendum and take the only item advertised? And Speaker, let me seek your leave for the business to be taken by the Deputy Minister instead.
Yes, honorable members, my attention has been drawn to the presence of some distinguished visitors to our parliament from the Pan-African Parliament, led by no less a person than the President of the Pan-African Parliament, in the person of His Excellency Chief Fortuna Charumbira. Please, because of the numbers today, they are seated at the left side of the speaker. So you have to acknowledge His Excellency Chief Fortuna Charumbira. He is the President of the Pan-African Parliament. You know, is situated in South Africa. He is accompanied by the clerk to the Parliament in the person of Madame Lindiwe Kumalo. We also have our own former marshal to this parliament. We loaned him to the Pan-African Parliament as the Sergeant at Arms for about 18 years now. He has advanced to the position now of an acting deputy clerk. He's in the person of Major retired Kenneth Akibati. The young ones don't know him, but he was very, very good here as a marshal, a very well-disciplined military officer. We also have the director of a bureau. Here we refer to them as chief directors, in the person of Mr. Marimo Ndamuku. Marimo Ndamuku. Well, where I'm seated, I can't see him, but I'm sure you will have a better sight of him. And then a policy director in the person of Mr. Morad Bularaf. Morad Bularaf is from Algeria. And then the one in charge of protocol, Miss Rumbiza Chisango. Honorable members, they came to attend the AU conference and decided to pay a courtesy call to the members at home here, which is their home. And on your behalf, I did welcome them when they paid a courtesy call on me. But they humbly decided to sit in for a few minutes before they could catch their flight back to South Africa. And so once again, you are warmly welcome to the Parliament of Ghana. I know you enjoyed your stay here. We had a few discussions which we will put before this House, because we need to collectively support the Pan-African Parliament to strengthen it to be able to perform its functions efficiently and effectively. It's a pleasure having you. Honorable members, order paper addendum is just a one-pager. At the commencement of public business, presentation Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, I can hear the complaints of my colleagues. Table office should do the needful. But before then, shall we revert back to the original order paper? And Speaker, proceed to page 14. Page 14, and take item 8U. I.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I have here Tuesday, 23rd July, 2024. I don't have page 14. So that's my page 14. So why did you decide not to give me page 14?
Yes. Honorable Minority Chief Whip, I think is the printer's level. I have page 14. And members, I'm sure a number of you have page 14. So kindly let us go to page 14 of the original order paper, item U, by the chairman of the committee. We have U, Roman 1, Roman 2, and Roman 3. And I want to, there's also, yes, Roman 1, Roman 2, Roman 3, to be taken together with one bow. Chairman of the committee.
Report of the Finance Committee on the financing agreement between the Government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of Finance, and the International Development Association of the World Bank Group for an amount of $250 million United States dollars for the Ghana Financial Stability Project. Report of the Finance Committee on the request for waiver of import duties, import VAT, import NHIL, import get fund levy, EXIM levy, and the special import levy, amounting to the Ghana cedi equivalent of €1,517,040 for the supply installation of integrated e-learning laboratories in senior high schools, Televic Phase 2. Report of the Finance Committee on the request for waiver of import duties, import VAT, import NHIL, import get fund levy, EXIM levy, special import levy, and other fiscal reliefs amounting to the Ghana cedi equivalent of $38,660,000 United States dollars on materials and equipment to be imported by the Ghana Bauxite Company Limited as a strategic investor under Section 15(1) of the Exemptions Act 2022, Act 1083.
Yes, Honorable Richard Achampong.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in respect of the 250 million IDA facility, the committee met. We raised a lot of issues, and they promised to provide the committee with some information. We don't have those information, so we stood it down. We didn't even discuss it. So I'm shocked to hear that a report is being laid before all of us, because the meeting was inconclusive. So why do you come and lay a report? Chairman, this is your maiden report. So please, Mr. Speaker, the committee still has the opportunity to meet and take a decision. We've not taken any decision on any report. So this is strange to all of us here. We did not take any decision in respect of the 250 million facility. There's no report.
Honorable members.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. For the
Honorable members. Chairman, what do you have to say in response?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's true we met on these referrals and we agreed subject to. So the report is being laid subject to, and those information have been presented to us, and committee members will see the final report. So we cannot print the report without those information that has been given to us. So we are not doing anything illegal, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, we will take you Roman 2 and 3 and defer Roman 1 in view of the objection that has been raised. Clearly, the report is not ready. Yes, so it can be late. Let's move. Sorry? Yes?
Mr. Speaker, this development is very strange. We haven't even considered it at all. When they attempted to hold the meeting on
please,
this, we
what
raised
did you
issues.
say?
What I'm saying is that we haven't even considered the IDLO, let alone to talk about a report subject to. We haven't. It was stood down on the day you brought it, and we gave you reasons.
Preliminary objection.
Yes,
Honourable members,
so
you are giving us conflicting reports. Because the first statement by Honourable Richard Achampong was that it was considered, but a number of issues were raised, and they agreed to provide the additional information. So no decision had been taken by the committee. That was his position. Now, your position is that it has not been considered at all. Please, let me hear from him. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, when they tabled this transaction, the committee had preliminary objections for which it was stood down at this very first meeting. In fact, one of our concerns was that the Bank of Ghana says we need 15 billion for the financial stability. We asked them to come and set up a Ghana Financial Stability Fund, into which those funds will be collected, because what they have brought is just $250 million out of 15 billion. So how are we going to account for it? They need to come and set up a fund. That was our position. And so they stood it down. And for me to be seeing a report subject to what? We haven't even considered it at all.
So your additional information is that you started the consideration, but you haven't completed. But when you say it has not been considered at all, that conveys a different meaning.
Maybe it was because not even the memo to Parliament was read before us.
What was referred to you? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it's simple. You referred this very document to the Finance Committee. At our first meeting, the very first meeting, we raised some preliminary issues, and we concluded, all of us, that based on the preliminary issues, we will stand down the consideration, provide us with those preliminary issues in terms of information that will help us to do a further consideration of this referral. We've not done that. So there cannot even be a report. It's as simple as that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Yes, but that is in respect of you, Roman 1. Yes. And that is what I have deferred. But I said you, Roman 2 and 3 are laid accordingly, and the reports should be distributed to all members of Parliament. The you, Roman 1 is deferred for further consideration. Yes, let's move on. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, for the past 2 weeks, we've had situations where papers have been late, reports have been late,
and we complained that 24 hours after the report or the documents have been laid, members were not given copies. Mr. Speaker, the new chairman of the Finance Committee has just laid a report that some said the report exists, some said it doesn't exist. Mr. Speaker, I want you to direct the table office to start the distribution of what the chairman has laid today, so that we don't have to come tomorrow demanding the report. So if indeed the report exists, the one that you have allowed to be laid, Mr. Speaker, we want to see the table office distributing those reports now, so we don't have to call for it tomorrow. It is very important. Mr. Speaker, things are laid. We never see it. And then the public get the impression that we have seen it. Mr. Speaker, to avoid that, once it has been laid, let the table office distribute them for us to see today, so that we don't get ourselves into trouble again. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes.
Speaker, I'm not sure my good friend is seeking to question the competence of the table office. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate they can't speak into the mic. Over the years, the table office has demonstrated demonstrable competence, and the orders are clear. As and when sufficient copies are received, then they will go ahead and publish those documents and that paper. They have not fell foul of the provisions of our standing order. So I think my good friend is totally out of order, and he should just sit quietly and allow other papers to be laid. He is completely out of order. The table office have been competent so far, and you should at least, if for nothing at all, you give them some credit. For the many years you have been in this house, they have displayed competence. So shall we proceed to order paper addendum and take the only business advertised on the order paper?
Honourable members, please let me assist in this matter. We have papers that come from outside. Those are the documents that are referred to, that when we have sufficient copies delivered to the clerk, then they are processed for admission and referred to the business committee to schedule for the consideration of the House. That one, there are sufficient copies to be distributed. But when the report is generated by the House, it's after it is laid that copies will be produced for distribution to members. And the copies are usually distributed through the office generally referred to as the table office, where you have the register. Some of you go to append your signatures. They put it in your, you call them pigeonholes. That's where they put them, and that's where you collect them. They are usually not distributed on the floor. It's only when, during consideration of a report, members say they don't have copies available, that we call on the table office to distribute the additional copies they have. If we have to encourage distribution of copies immediately they are laid, that would disrupt the proceedings of the House. And so we'll take note of the concern you have raised, and then copies are not distributed, then we could read the referral. But as at now, I think the proper thing should be done, the table office, to try to produce additional copies sufficient enough to be distributed to members through your pigeonholes. That is what I can say as a matter of practice and the processes of the House. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, we accept your ruling, but just to maybe a guide to the chairman of the Finance Committee as well. We would encourage him that the next time he wants to lay a paper, that paper must actually exist in the case of the 250 million, because what he has done is an attempt to deceive colleagues by saying that a report from a committee exists. So, Mr. Speaker, it will be very important that, because unless you can prove that the report exists, trying to lay a report which doesn't exist is actually, Mr. Speaker, an affront to the integrity of this House. So, Mr. Speaker, the chairman of the Finance Committee must take note. The next time you want to lay a paper, you can only lay a paper that exists, not a non. In fact, he himself said that in the process, we don't lay in the process papers, we lay papers that exist. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, please.
Speaker, to proceed on to the other paper addendum. And Speaker, I want to seek your leave. I don't know what has come over you this morning. So I seek your leave for it to be done by the Deputy Minister. You know he's indisposed. You know it. I don't need to tell you.
Sorry, my attention was distracted by the clerk. So I didn't hear what you said. Yes,
Other
please.
paper addendum. It's the only business.
We go ahead with
Other paper addendum.
other paper addendum.
Yes. And Speaker, I sought your leave for it to be done by the Deputy Minister.
Yes, please. Honorable members. Yes, Honorable Deputy Minority Whip.
Mr. Speaker, we have no objection to it.
Honorable members, order paper addendum, presentation and first reading of bills, Ghana Shippers Authority Amendment Bill 2024, Minister for Transport.
An act to establish the Ghana Shippers Authority to regulate the commercial activities of shippers and shipping service providers in the shipment, storage and delivery of international trade cargo by sea, air and land, and to provide for related matters.
Honorable members, the bill is presented to the House accordingly and referred to the Committee on Transport for consideration and report to the House. I want to encourage other members, particularly members of the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs, to assist the Committee on Transport in its deliberations. Honorable members, before I proceed, we have other visitors. You can see the public gallery is full. We have visitors from a number of institutions. And it's important I recognize their presence before we proceed. We have 69 visitors from the Otium Pentecost Child and Youth Development Center. They are led by the director in the person of Collins Joe Annam. The institute is located in the Ekumfi constituency. 69 of them are present, and they are to my right at the public gallery. On your behalf, I want to warmly welcome them to Parliament House and to encourage them to keep on coming. And I hope our team will take them through the rudiments of parliamentary practice. You are welcome. Please resume your seats. We have another group made up of 115 people from the Adubia United Basic Primary and Junior High. They are led by the head teacher in the person of Mr. Asensu Peter Atta. The school is located in the Manso Adubia constituency. I don't recall the name of a constituency called Manso Adubia. Manso Adubia. That's the name of the constituency. Manso Adubia.
It's Manso Adubia, Mr. Speaker.
Adubia.
Adubia, ADU. Manso
Yes.
Adubia.
That is one of the new creations.
No, it's been here since 2013.
2020.
2013.
Created in 2013.
2012. 2012.
I'm not sure you are right. Not even 2012.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, it was created in 2012, but came to being in 2013. And I've been in this chamber since 2013. And
yeah, I recognize your face.
Sure, but that is the name of the constituency. Listen, only, all right. Mr. Speaker, on the Government Assurances Committee, you were our special patron, and I was the chairman. And I always interacted with you here in this very chamber. Thank you.
I used to refer to the constituency as Manso constituency. I didn't know that there was a Dubia attached to it.
There are two Manso constituencies. It used to be one. Yes. And then in 2012, it was split into two. The Manso Nkwanta and Manso Adubia.
Oh.
That's it. So it used to be one constituency.
Thank you so much. We have also students from Gomwa East constituency. There are 79 in number from the Hope College. They are led by the head of department in the person of Thomas Kodo. Yes, there are also quite a number here. And we also have, please resume your seats. We also have students from Insian Senior High School, Axim Girls Senior High School, Axim Community Tech, Jiraman Senior High School. These are all located in the Evaluate Ajumuro Jira constituency, and they are led by the group leader in the person of Mr. Albert Saki. Please, all of you, rather from Adubia United Basic, Hope College, and the current students, you are all welcome to Parliament, and I hope that you will not make it a one-day wonder, 9-day wonder. You continue to come so that you can learn and perform better than us in the future. With this, I move on. Please resume your seats. We may now move to the main item. Yes.
Speaker, with respect, before that, shall we take the last business on the original order paper, page 15, item 8W and 8X on page 15.
Page 15, item
W and X.
Honorable members, we are being called upon to take the items numbered W and X at page 15 of the order paper. W is by the chairman of the committee, and this time it's a joint committee. Mines, now we have committee on energy and then another committee on lands and natural resources. The chairman is to lay the report for and on behalf of the joint committee.
Reports of the Joint Committee on Mines and Energy and Lands and Forestry on the Songo Salt Mining undertaken by Electrochem Ghana Limited.
Honourable members, the report is laid according and for distribution to all members of Parliament. Then we take X by the chairman of the committee.
Reports of the Committee on Mines and Energy on the 2024 work program of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation.
Honourable members, this report is also laid accordingly and is for distribution to all members of Parliament. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I'm happy that the former chairman of the committee is here. As far as there were some provisions that were made in the report, and those monies were not going to be used by GNPC. And we asked that they should bring us a report from the Ministry of Energy to show us how those monies were going to be expended, or else it should be expunged. Since then, they have not returned to us. 3 days ago, I drew the attention of the clerk to it, and I'm happy that the former chairman is here. And so for them to have a report being laid, when we have not agreed on that, I'm sorry that my ranking is not here. Another kangaroo laying.
And why is the old chairman laying that?
Yes, that's the point I'm
Yes,
making.
chairman, yes.
And we're talking about almost $45 million.
Yes, I want to hear from the chairman of the committee. Yes, please.
Yes. Honourable Speaker, some issues were raised, and we pushed them to furnish the answers to your clerk. They are all there for their perusal, but they do not affect the substance of the matter. So when you are on your feet and you still want to interrogate, it is up to you, but whatever was required, all the residual issues are with the clerk. So I'll crave the indulgence of Mr. Speaker that my good friend should liaise with the clerk so you can internalize all the papers you need, which you can use for arguments on the House floor. But the substance of the document, we have not departed from it. All the residual matters are with the clerk, with respect.
Mr. Speaker, you have a situation where GNPC is asked to contribute huge sums of money, millions of dollars, to the Ministry of Energy for a project nobody knows what the project is about. And all we asked was that give us a report of give us a report on what the project is all about, the scope of the report, the amount involved, and the justification why GNPC should be funding that. And as we speak, they have not brought it. And you incorporate that and for us to approve it. I mean, that's so wrong. And that cannot, this is a very material issue. That and besides that, you see, he was a very fantastic chairman, and I liked him. But as we speak now, I don't know what capacity he was speaking on.
That's all.
Well, what I heard the chairman to have said is that the documents have been deposited with the clerk to the committee, and therefore you could get copies from the clerk to the committee. That is what the chairman said.
Yeah,
yes, let me hear.
We needed to have that report, and then need to see as to whether we agree that that allocation should be made. We have not met.
Yes, Deputy Minority Leader.
Honourable Speaker, I think the Honourable Member, Honourable Bauer, was right. I was in that meeting, and those requests are made. But I think it's important to know that what we're expecting are very important and must find expressions in this report. And so, yes, if they are important. If members have not seen it and expressed their views on those reports and we lay the report, we will not be doing a good service to this house. So I would strongly suggest that we stand down on this report. We make sure that members have opportunity to see those reports, and then we can really come back and lay the report.
Yes, Chairman, what do you say to a request?
With the greatest of respect to the former Minister for Energy, the matters they are complaining of are residual matters which are with the clerk. So when you go and internalize what they've left for us to see, that could be part of your submissions on the floor. But it doesn't change substantially the content of the work program. That is what I'm trying to say. Because they raised issues, they wanted to look at some documents. The documents have been furnished. But those matters are not at the core of the work program. So I don't see why it should hijack, what we are doing. When you are on your feet and you've gone to the clerk to see the documents, it can be part of your contribution at the House floor. But it doesn't change substantially the work program. It doesn't change it at all.
Ranking member.
Mr. Speaker, I am shocked and surprised to see this report. Mr. Speaker, I've quickly glanced through from page 1 to 16, and as far as I'm concerned, I disagree with every single page here in terms of this report. Every single page. Mr. Speaker, we have a lot to do before this report is generated. I am your ranking member. If you claim that documents have been submitted, Mr. Speaker, it's not right and proper that you ferry same to the ranking member so that incompetent and intelligent members we can peruse this document to determine the way forward. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest of respect, taking regard to this report, I would appeal to you that just as you did with UI, this one to kindly stand it down. Yes. Let's go and do what is right and proper. Then we can come here and consider. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Minister, Trade and Industry.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the recognition. Mr. Speaker, I just looked at my time. The battery works all right. I checked with the other ones. Mr. Speaker, it's 3 o'clock. Mr. Speaker, we thought that there was a specific item that almost everybody came here, Mr. Speaker, for, and that is for the presentation of the mid-year review. Mr. Speaker, the Energy Committee matters, we will resolve it at the appropriate time. All the matters, Mr. Speaker, that you find here, we can resolve at the appropriate time. Mr. Speaker, for Christ's sake, our colleagues will allow the minister to present the report, the what is the name? The mid-year review budget. Let's get that out of the way. It's 3 o'clock, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member, I think you should be talking to your leadership.
Give me 1 second.
Because they are guiding the speaker as to which item to call first.
I understand that, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, so that is what I'm doing. In view of what is happening, please, honourable members, who defer the laying, not stand down, who defer the laying of that item. And this is in reference to item X, 8X, at page 15 of the order paper. Then we can now proceed to the major of the day. I agree with the Honourable Minister for Trade and Industry. We spent a lot of time. Can we now do the main item? Please. Is that agreeable?
It is so, Speaker.
Yes. Honourable members, item 6 is at page 2 of the original order paper. Statements. Mid-year review of the budget statement and economic policy of the government of Ghana for the 2024 financial year, Minister for Finance.
Thank you. The Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable Members of Parliament, on the authority of His Excellency President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, I present to you the mid-year fiscal policy review of the budget statement and economic policy of the Government of Ghana for the 2024 financial year. The mid-year fiscal policy review presentation is in fulfillment of Section 28 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. Mr. Speaker, this statement is an abridged version of the mid-year fiscal policy review of the budget statement and economic policy for the 2024 financial year. I respectfully request that the entire mid-year fiscal policy be captured in the Hansa. Mr. Speaker, I want to begin this mid-year policy review by expressing my gratitude to His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, for appointing me to serve as the Finance Minister, especially at this critical time in our nation's history. It is such an honor and privilege to serve in this capacity, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. As the Member of Parliament for Karaga and one of your own, I wish to also express my profound appreciation to you, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, for the immense support I have received since I assumed office as Minister for Finance. I will continue to rely on the full cooperation of the House as we work together to serve our country. Growing up as a young boy in Ababu, Tamale, it never crossed my mind that I will one day stand before you to address this august House in this. The young people out there should therefore know that, especially those sitting in the public gallery, that it is possible with hard work. It is possible with hard work, dedication, and by the grace of God, all of you have limitless opportunities to serve our country. Mr. Speaker, the last 2 years have been extremely challenging globally, and Ghana has not been an exception. The difficult economic environment has truly affected businesses and families, particularly the vulnerable in our society. These challenges have severely affected households, increased cost of living, and limited the creation of job opportunities. Our young people continue to seek employment opportunities beyond what the state can provide. Mr. Speaker, it has indeed been a difficult time, and I deeply empathize with our fellow Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, over the last 2 years, government has embarked on a number of decisive measures to get us back on the path of fiscal consolidation, economic stability, and growth. And I'm happy to note that these policies we have implemented are yielding the expected results. Growth continues to exceed our expectations. The 4.7% growth rate reported by the Ghana Statistical Service for the first quarter 2024 exceeds the 3.1% recorded in the same period in 2023. Inflation is declining. End June inflation rate of 22.8%, a reduction of 31 percentage points from the December 2022, which confirms the target of 15% by end 2024 is possible. Exchange rate has largely stabilized compared to December 2022, despite the recent pressures. The 18.6% depreciation rate to the US dollar as of June 2024 represents an improvement over the 22% recorded for the same period last year. And gross international reserves reached 3.1 months of import cover as at end June 2024, against 2.5 months of import cover in the same period last year. Mr. Speaker, it is evident that we are on the right trajectory. The economy is rebounding stronger than anticipated. The choices we've made and the policies we are implementing are yielding results. We've reversed the negative trends. All the indicators are looking better. I want to assure you that we will stay on this path and continue to make the right choices. Our economy is recovering, and the recovery is fast and strong. Mr. Speaker, over the last 6 months, we've sought to bring some urgency and speed to the implementation of key government programs, and also swiftly provided the necessary support for growth-enhancing initiatives. I am again happy to inform this august House that with the support of His Excellency the President, Cabinet, and all stakeholders, we have successfully concluded the second review of our extended credit facility with the International Monetary Fund, which led to the disbursement of the third tranche of $360 million, bringing total disbursement to about $1.6 billion. We have completed the debt restructuring program with the Official Creditor Committee of Ghana, covering $5.1 billion, resulting in approximately $2.8 billion of debt service relief. This means that we will not service our debt to our official creditors from 2023 to 2026. We have concluded negotiations with our Eurobond holders, covering $13.1 billion, which will lead to a cancellation of $4.7 billion of our debt and provide debt service relief of another $4.4 billion between 2023 and 2026. We've concluded our negotiations with 5 of the 7 independent power producers, which will lead to a saving of $6.6 billion over the remaining lifetime of the power purchase agreements. We've reined in expenditures to ensure we are within the 2024 budget appropriation and exceeded the mid-year non-oil revenue target by 3.7%. In effect, Mr. Speaker, we are living within our means. Indeed, consistent with our programs with the IMF, we are on course to achieving a primary surplus of 0.5% of GDP by end of the year. We've cleared all outstanding bank transfer advice, BTAs, up to 2022, and working hard to pay BTAs from 2023. We've embarked on major reforms of state-owned enterprises, especially those in the energy and cocoa sectors, to be fiscally prudent and reduce their risk on the budget. We've launched the SME Go program to provide financial and technical support to SMEs. We've disbursed 5.4 billion Ghana cedis to support LEAP, school feeding program, capitation grant, and NHIS since January 2024 to reduce the burden on the vulnerable in our society. We've spent about 1.5 billion Ghana cedis to support 1,488,575 students under the free senior high school program between January and June this year. We've paid about 12 billion Ghana cedis to bondholders under our domestic debt exchange program since February to demonstrate our commitment to the program. Mr. Speaker, we've invested almost 10 billion Ghana cedis in the road sector since January 2024 to enhance transportation and spur growth. I can also confirm that government has secured equipment to complement the efforts of our local authorities in improving community roads nationwide. Mr. Speaker, in line with our commitment to infrastructure development, we continue to make progress on projects such as Konfanoti Teaching Hospital, Ofanko Nsawam Road, Keta Water Supply, Obichebi Lamte, and Flower Pot interchanges, the 3 bypasses on the Kumasi-Accra Highway, and the Tema-Mpakadam Railway Line. We've completed the Prempeh the First International Airport in Kumasi and the Yakubu Tali International Airport in Tamale. Agenda 111 hospitals are at various stages of completion. We have completed the Afari Hospital in Kumasi and many other hospitals across the country. To advance our digitalization drive and expand our unique identification system, we've invested about 135 million Ghana cedis in the National Identification Program since January 2024. Mr. Speaker, this significant progress has been underpinned by an environment of enhanced and inclusive engagements with key stakeholders. These engagements are useful feedback, improved our understanding, and boosted our cooperation with stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, the stabilization is real. We are determined to stay the course on our fiscal consolidation program. Increased attention will continue to be given to prudent management of approved expenditures and improved revenue mobilization. We will also continue with our programs of delivering critical physical and digital infrastructure. To generate economic activity and increase growth, we will focus on increasing our investments in the road sector under the Economic Growth Improvement Program area. This program will ensure that roads are built to connect producing areas to market centers and to key tourist sites. Accordingly, certain critical economic roads have been prioritized. We are structuring a financial arrangement that will ensure the timely completion of these strategic roads: the Accra-Kumasi Highway, Accra-Takoradi Highway, Takoradi-Agona-Nkwanta Junction, and Tema-Afenya Road. We will work with the private sector to close the national housing deficit and optimize land use in urban areas. We will use public-private partnership to deliver public infrastructure projects. Mr. Speaker, Cabinet has also granted approval for the disbursement of an additional 1.5 billion Ghana cedis to provide relief and bailout for those whose funds have been locked up in the fund management companies. The establishment of a framework for the reintroduction of road and bridge tolls in 2025. The operationalization of the integrated property tax system and a review of stability rules to include a debt rule to support debt sustainability, as well as the establishment of independent fiscal council. Mr. Speaker, our outlook for the rest of the year also takes cognizance of key risks. The IMF this month has already noted that the global economy is in a sticky spot. Upside risk to inflation and their impact on interest rates remain. These coexist in an environment of escalating trade tensions and increased policy uncertainty. On the domestic front, we recognize the need to meet large debt service payments relating to our just-ended debt operations. We will continue to review the performance of key SOEs and engage stakeholders to decisively mitigate their risk. Despite these significant risks, this mid-year fiscal policy review reassesses government's commitment to pursue growth in a context of fiscal consolidation and debt sustainability. Mr. Speaker, the developments in key operations for the economy, as at mid-year, have prompted shifts in some of the assumptions that underpin the 2024 budget, presented in November 2023. There have been changes in amortization, interest costs due to the external debt operations, and disbursement forecasts for externally funded projects. In this regard, we will remain within the appropriation for 2024. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, we are not seeking supplementary funds in this mid-year review. We are determined to be more efficient, strategic, and intentional to enrich and entrench fiscal consolidation and strongly promote growth. Mr. Speaker, in today's presentation of the mid-year policy review of government, I'll provide updates on the following key areas: an update on the macro and fiscal performance for the year 2023, a review of the implementation of the 2024 budget for the first half of the year, the current economic developments and outlook, progress made on the implementation of key government policies, particularly of the IMF-supported PCPEG, the status of Ghana's debt restructuring program, efforts at pursuing growth and development within a stable macroeconomic environment, and the status of implementation of government programs, among others. Mr. Speaker, global growth projections indicate a moderation from 3.5% in 2022 to 3.3% in 2023. This trend is expected to vary slightly into 2024, with a growth of 3.2% and 3.3% in 2025, according to the July 2024 update of the World Economic Outlook. The forecast for Sub-Saharan Africa point to an uptick from 3.4% in 2023 to 3.7% and 4.1% in 2024 and 2025 respectively. This growth trajectory is supported by the reversal of earlier anticipated weather-related shocks and ongoing improvements in supply conditions. Mr. Speaker, global headline inflation is expected to decline from 6.7% in 2023 to 5.9% in 2024, and further to 4.4% in 2025. This is according to the World Economic Outlook update for July 2024. In the Sub-Saharan Africa region, headline inflation is projected to decrease to 6% in 2024 from 10% in 2020. However, about one-third of the region's countries continue to experience double-digit headline inflation, largely influenced by the pass-through impacts of significant currency depreciations. Mr. Speaker, gold prices have reached record highs, rising by 8% annually due to safe haven flows and robust central bank buying. Prices are expected to increase moderately to $2,100 per ounce throughout 2024. Mr. Speaker, when we presented the 2024 budget to this August House last November, we shared our progress in terms of the macroeconomic performance for the first 3 quarters of 2023. Today, with the full year data at our disposal, I present a more comprehensive update on the performance of the domestic economy in 2023 and the first half of 2024. Mr. Speaker, the year 2023 was characterized by improved macroeconomic stability, resilience, and gradual recovery. Despite the persistent global headwinds stemming from the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine conflict, we observed some encouraging developments. We witnessed a gradual shift towards economic stabilization, with most key macroeconomic indicators showing signs of improvement, including growth, proving to be more resilient and robust than initially programmed. Mr. Speaker, provisional 2023 GDP statistics published by the Ghana Statistical Service in April 2024 indicate that growth of the economy in 2023 was more resilient than projected. The economy expanded by 2.9% against a target of 1.5%, whilst non-oil GDP grew by 3.3%. In the first quarter of 2024, growth was 4.7%, the highest growth recorded since the second quarter of 2022. This growth largely reflected an expansion in the industry sector, which recorded a growth of 6.8%. Mr. Speaker, headline inflation decelerated significantly to 23.2% as at end December 2023, representing 31.4 percentage points reduction from the peak of 54.6% recorded in December 2022. In June 2024, headline inflation declined to 22.8%. The decline in price pressures was broadly driven by tight monetary policy stance, ongoing fiscal consolidation of government, and low volatility of transport fares due to stable crude oil prices. Mr. Speaker, in 2023, interest rates broadly showed downward trends at the shorter end of the yield curve, whilst rates at the longer-dated segment of the market remained stable. The 91-day and 182-day Treasury bill rates decreased to 29.4% and 31.7% in December 2023, and further down to 24.9%, 24.6% in June 2024, coming down from 35.5% and 36.2% recorded in December 2022. Mr. Speaker, the banking sector rebounded in 2023 with an improved balance sheet performance in December 2023 on the back of increased liquidity flows from deposits and shareholders' funds. Total assets increased by 29.7% to 274.9 billion Ghana cedis as at end December 2023. Total investment also increased by 47.5% to 100.2 billion Ghana cedis, driven by the bank's reallocated portfolios towards short-term investment in response to the increase in short-term money market rates. Mr. Speaker, developments in Ghana's external sector in 2023 was marked by a general reduction in external payments, resulting in a current account surplus and reduced capital and financial account outflow. Consequently, the overall balance of payment recorded a surplus of $461.6 million. The current account improved to a surplus of $1.41 billion, driven by a strong growth in remittances as the reforms in the fintech ecosystem started to yield positive results. Mr. Speaker, for the first half of 2024, the trade balance recorded a provisional surplus of $1.81 billion, higher than the outturn of $1.6 billion recorded in the corresponding period of 2023. This was the result of a larger increase in exports, which outweighed the increase in imports. The improved trade surplus, together with an even stronger growth in remittances and the lingering reduction in income payments due to the debt standstill, resulted in larger current account surplus of $28 billion, and this is 1.5% of GDP. This is recorded in the first half of 2024. This compares with a current account surplus of $863 million, 1.1% of GDP, registered in the same period a year ago. Mr. Speaker, gross international reserves stood at $5.9 billion, equivalent to 2.7 months of import cover for goods and services at the end of December 2023. Our reserves further increased to $6.9 billion, equivalent to 3.1 months of import cover at the end of June this year. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana cedi experienced a relatively moderate depreciation against major international currencies in 2023 compared to the previous year. Cumulatively, the Ghana cedi depreciated by 27.8%, 31.9%, and 30.3% against the US dollar, the pound sterling, and the euro, respectively, in 2023. In the first half of 2024, the cedi depreciated by 18.6%, 17.9%, and 16% against the US dollar, the pound sterling, and the euro, respectively. This compares to a depreciation of 22%, 26.3%, and 23.8% against the US dollar, the pound sterling, and the euro, respectively, in the first half of last year. Mr. Speaker, government fiscal operations for 2023 shows significant improvement in the fiscal balances, demonstrating an effective fiscal consolidation with the primary balance on commitment basis reducing by over 4 percentage points of GDP in 2023 relative to 2022. The fiscal performance for 2023 is presented within the context of the revised 2023 overall deficit on commitment basis, which has a target of 5.7% of GDP, with a corresponding primary deficit of 0.5% of GDP. On cash basis, the revised 2023 overall deficit target was 6.4% of GDP. Overall budget deficit on commitment basis was 31.5 billion Ghana cedis, 3.7% of GDP, compared to the mid-year budget target of 49 billion Ghana cedis, 5.7% of GDP. Primary balance on commitment basis was a deficit of 2.2 billion Ghana cedis, 0.3% of GDP, which was an improvement over the deficit target of 4.1 billion Ghana cedis, 0.5% of GDP, and a significant improvement from the deficit 4.3% of GDP recorded in 2022. The overall budget balance on cash basis was a deficit of 28 billion Ghana cedis, 3.3% of GDP, which is much lower than the target of 55 billion Ghana cedis, 6.4% of GDP, and down from the deficit of 10.6% of GDP recorded in 2022. Primary balance on cash basis was a surplus of 1.4 billion Ghana cedis, 0.2% of GDP, which is an improvement compared to the deficit target of 10.1 billion Ghana cedis, that is 1.2% of GDP, and the deficit 3.2% of GDP recorded in 2022. Mr. Speaker, provisional data on government fiscal operations for the first half of 2024 indicates that revenue mobilization and expenditure execution were broadly in line with the target, resulting in an overall budget deficit on commitment basis of 21.3 billion Ghana cedis. This corresponding primary balance on commitment basis was a deficit of 2.3 billion Ghana cedis, that is 0.2% of GDP, compared to the deficit target of 2.4 billion Ghana cedis, also 0.2% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, the overall cash budget deficit was 36.1 billion Ghana cedis, 3.4% of GDP, compared with the deficit target of 35.2 billion Ghana cedis, 3.3% of GDP. The corresponding primary balance on cash basis was a deficit of 17.1 billion Ghana cedis, 1.6% of GDP, compared with the period target of 8.8 billion Ghana cedis, 0.8% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, total revenue and grants for the first half of 2024 amounted to 74.7 billion Ghana cedis, 1.9% below the target of 76.1 billion Ghana cedis. Despite the shortfalls, the outturn shows a nominal year-on-year growth of 24.6% and constitutes 42.3% of the budget's total revenue for the year. The revenue performance was mainly driven by the strong performance in non-oil tax revenue and non-oil non-tax revenue, which partly offset the shortfalls in oil receipts for the period. Mr. Speaker, total expenditures commitment amounted to 95 billion Ghana cedis, below the budget target of 104.8 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, as at end December 2023, the provisional central government and guaranteed debt in nominal terms was 608.4 billion Ghana cedis. This was made up of 351.1 billion Ghana cedis and 257.2 billion Ghana cedis for external and domestic debt, respectively. Mr. Speaker, the provisional total central government debt as at end June 2024 stood at 742 billion Ghana cedis, equivalent to 70.6% of GDP. This indicates an increase of 22% due to the effect of the cedi depreciation and disbursements from creditors. The stock consists of external debt of 452 billion Ghana cedis and domestic debt of 290 billion Ghana cedis, representing 60.9% and 39.1% of the total debt stock, respectively. As a percentage of GDP, external and domestic debt represented 43% and 27.6%, respectively. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's medium-term macroeconomic and financial outlook and prospects remain positive and favorable, despite the challenging global environment. The ongoing improvement in the implementation of the post-COVID-19 program for economic growth reinforces our commitment to navigate through global uncertainties and address domestic challenges. Government's unwavering dedication to maintaining macroeconomic stability, promoting investment, and enhancing social protection programs continues to re-echo our objective of building back better. Mr. Speaker, it has become necessary to revise the 2024 macroeconomic framework due to recent domestic and global economic developments, including the impact of the debt restructuring. Mr. Speaker, key revisions to the macro fiscal targets for 2024 include overall real GDP growth rate revised upwards from 2.8% to 3.1%. Non-oil real GDP growth rate is revised upwards from 2.1% to 2.8%. Growth in GDP deflator scaled down from 20.2% to 17.5%. Nominal overall GDP has been revised from 1.050 billion Ghana cedis, that is 1 trillion Ghana cedis, to 1.020 billion Ghana cedis. Non-oil GDP has been revised from 979 billion Ghana cedis to 977 billion Ghana cedis. End-period head inflation remains unchanged at 15%. Primary balance on commitment basis is maintained at a surplus of 0.5%. And gross international reserves, including oil funds and incumbent or pledged assets, to cover no less than 3 months of imports. Mr. Speaker, accounting for these developments, the revision of the 2024 fiscal framework indicates that the primary balance on commitment basis remains unchanged at the targeted surplus of 0.5% of GDP, in line with the IMF-supported PCPEC objectives. Mr. Speaker, total revenue and grants have been revised upwards by 0.5% to 177.2 billion Ghana cedis in 2024, from the 2024 budget target of 176.4 billion Ghana cedis. This largely reflects increase in non, which has been increased from 14.8 billion Ghana cedis to 15.6 billion Ghana cedis to reflect dividends from interest accrued in the ESLA accounts. Mr. Speaker, total expenditure on commitment has been revised downward by 2.1% to 219.7 billion Ghana cedis from the original budget projection of 226.7 billion Ghana cedis. This revision is largely on the back of interest payments, which has been revised downwards by 7.9 billion Ghana cedis to reflect the impact of the external debt restructuring on external interest payments. Mr. Speaker, the overall balance on commitment basis has been revised from a deficit of 50.3 billion Ghana cedis to a deficit of 42.5 billion Ghana cedis. The primary balance on commitment basis is therefore maintained at surplus of 0.5% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, the cash deficit of 54.1 billion Ghana cedis is expected to be financed from foreign and domestic sources. The net foreign financing will amount to 15.2 billion Ghana cedis, representing 28% of the total financing for 2024. Foreign financing will include disbursements from the second and third tranche of the IMF program and World Bank Development Policy Operation Funding. Mr. Speaker, the domestic financing will amount to 38.9 billion Ghana cedis, representing 71.9% of the total financing for 2024. This is expected to be sourced from the issuances of debt at the short end of the domestic market and inflows from Ghana Petroleum Funds. Mr. Speaker, the 2024 medium-term debt strategy will continue to build on the strategy implemented in the first half of the year. The strategy will focus on an appropriate financing mix aimed at supporting fiscal consolidation without compromising macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to report that government has made substantial progress since the completion of the domestic debt exchange program in September 2023. We successfully honored 2 coupon payments, with the second payment of about 5.9 billion Ghana cedis in February 2024. Furthermore, we are on track to make the third coupon payment of 6.1 billion Ghana cedis in August 2024. The timely payments of these coupons will undoubtedly improve investor confidence in the domestic market and bolster the overall economy. After an 8-month period of negotiations, Mr. Speaker, government and the Official Creditor Committee for Ghana reached an agreement in principle on the 12th January 2024, outlining the broad parameters for the restructuring of official bilateral debts. Subsequently, on the 11th of June 2024, government and the OCC reached an agreement on an MOU covering the restructuring of $1 billion of the official bilateral debt. Mr. Speaker, as I indicated earlier, I am pleased to report that this agreement resulted in debt service relief amounting to $2.8 billion over the course of the IMF program 2023 to 2026, which will provide critical liquidity support to the economy. Mr. Speaker, the MOU will serve as the guiding document for amending individual country claims against Ghana. The next critical step is a direct engagement with the bilateral creditors to implement the mutually agreed restructuring terms. Mr. Speaker, government is committed to securing debt treatment from all other external creditors, consistent with the comparability of treatment principle enshrined in the G20 Common Framework. We are pleased to announce that on the 24th of June 2024, government reached an agreement in principle with the Eurobond holders to restructure approximately $13.1 billion of outstanding Eurobonds. Additionally, it reduces the nominal value of the outstanding Eurobonds by $4.7 billion and provides debt service relief of about $4.4 billion during the program period. Mr. Speaker, the debt restructuring will result in reducing the present value of our public debt to 55% by 2028, as embedded in the IMF-supported program. Mr. Speaker, the government of Ghana remains committed to engaging in good faith negotiations with other commercial external creditors, comprising primarily private banks and suppliers or contractors that have provided commercial loan facilities. Our objective is to finalize restructuring agreements with these creditors that uphold the principle of comparability of treatment and addresses Ghana's requirement for debt relief, ensuring a comprehensive and sustainable approach to our external debt obligations. The debt restructuring has been a crucial pillar of Ghana's economic recovery from the 2022 crisis. It has helped to restore confidence in the economy, and the following benefits are evident: rapid restoration of macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability, avoidance of steeper fiscal adjustment, creation of fiscal space for development spending, and prevention of a domestic and external banking crisis. Mr. Speaker, despite the benefits, we remain committed to exercising caution, informed by the lessons learned from our experiences and the sacrifices of the Ghanaian people. Our debt strategy going forward includes deepening reforms to ensure irreversibility and building buffers to reduce vulnerabilities and enhance resilience. Mr. Speaker, in the 2024 budget statement and economic policy, government outlined a series of revenue measures consistent with the medium-term revenue strategy. The measures reflected the commitment of government to improve the tax-to-GDP ratio from the current 14.1% to 18 to 20% by 2027. In the 2024 budget, government amended existing legislation to give effect to the revenue measures. These measures also aim to broaden the tax base and improve tax compliance for a more equitable and efficient revenue system. Mr. Speaker, whilst not all the measures were implemented in the first half of the year through enhanced compliance and enforcement, the Ghana Revenue Authority exceeded its mid-year target by 0.2%. Similarly, non-tax revenue performance, as at the end of June, exceeded the target by 14%. Mr. Speaker, in line with its commitment to ensuring full disclosure of retained internal generated funds by public institutions, government has deployed the Ghana.gov platform to over 1,500 public institutions and also rolled out the Ghana Integrated Financial Management Information System, GIFMIX, to 287 IGF-reliant public institutions. As at the end of June, 140 public institutions, including GRA, had gone live and received payments through the platform, totaling 56.4 billion cedis, an increase of 34.6% compared to the same period in 2023. Mr. Speaker, for the rest of the year, the Ministry of Finance will deepen engagement with both GRA and relevant stakeholders to effectively implement policy, administrative, and regulatory measures to ensure that the revenue targets are met. Mr. Speaker, to broaden the tax base, a simplified digital solution for the operationalization of the modified taxation scheme will be deployed, as well as an electronic bookkeeping system. Additionally, 2,000 more taxpayers will be onboarded onto the electronic invoicing system, the EVAT system, by the close of the year. GRA will also continue with the cleaning of the taxpayer register and onboard more taxpayers onto its electronic systems to improve the taxpayer experience and compliance. In addition, GRA will continue to enforce and enhance data sharing with other tax jurisdictions to boost revenue mobilization. Government will reinstitute the integrated property tax system by synthesizing data from MMDAs, lands valuation, ECG, and other relevant government agencies to create a comprehensive digital property record database that will transform property data management and ensure a more efficient and accurate property tax system. Mr. Speaker, to enhance revenue mobilization by IGF-reliant covered entities, discussions will be held around provisions of incentives to those institutions that exceed their revenue target for the year. The Ministry will continue the deployment of the Ghana.gov payment platform to remaining public institutions and ensure that all those already onboarded go live. Additionally, the outstanding activities for the full rollout and utilization of the gift mix for the processing of IGF expenditures will be completed by the end of the year. Mr. Speaker, government will also develop a framework for the reintroduction of road and bridge tolls to facilitate the processes for the implementation of a modernized and efficient road and bridge tolling system commencing in 2025. Government undertook to ensure that we will have stability and also ensure that the economy continues to grow. Government also continued the implementation of ongoing programs and seeks in this mid-year review to provide an update on the progress and the outlook for the rest of the year. Mr. Speaker, government is determined to improve road infrastructure in the country. This has been done through the construction of new roads and the upgrade and maintenance of old ones. The rehabilitation and maintenance of road infrastructure nationwide are at various stages of completion. These include Joabosu, Moinzan, ongoing roads, Winnibaka Aswa, Karaga Town roads, Gushagu Town roads, Tolun Daboya roads, Nanton Karaga Gushagu Highway, Sefuweasu Town roads, Accra Kumasi roads, and many other roads. Some of the completed road projects include the Diasoba, Esinchim, Manshia, Anchi, Ajekrom, Debra Camp, and others. Sunyani and Brekum inner city roads, Atebubu town roads, Asinfosu, Dunkwa, Oko station, Kohu Tafu, Miasu roads. Mr. Speaker, in addition, the following major roads are at various stages of completion. The rehabilitation of the Tamale-Tatali Road, Phase 2 of the Tema Motorway Roundabout, construction of the flyover over the Accra-Tema Motorway from the Flower Point Roundabout on the Spintex Road to East Legon, construction of the Phase 2 works under the Swami Interchange, dualization of Ofanko Road, works on the Aguna Nkonta Tapa Road, works on the Domi Kitasi Road, and Phase 2 of Obichibi Lamti Interchange and ancillary works. Mr. Speaker, our commitment to building an efficient railway network is not just about transportation. It is about fostering economic growth, creating jobs, and enhancing connectivity throughout our nation. The Nsawam-Accra Tema railway line is completed and in use. The construction of the iconic Tema to Mpakadam railway line is 99% complete and is expected to be fully completed this year. The construction of the Kodokrom-Manso section is expected to be completed before the end of 2024. The Manso-Hani Valley, which includes the extension of the line into the Takoradi port, is expected to be completed by May 2026. Mr. Speaker, government constructed about 10 fishing ports to improve the livelihood of fishing communities. The Jamestown Fishing Port, which is the last project, is expected to be completed and commissioned by the end of 2024. Mr. Speaker, construction of an oil and gas services terminal at the Takoradi port is 77% complete. In addition, Construction of phase 1 of the Bonkara Integrated Logistics Terminal is about 70% complete. Mr. Speaker, government, in collaboration with its social partners, has developed a draft Labour Bill 2024 to strengthen labour administration and regulation of the world of work. Key reforms proposed include strengthening labour migration governance, improving employment coordination, extension of maternity leave, and introduction of paternity leave, among others. The labour law is expected to be promulgated before the end of this year. Government continues to reform and position the Youth Employment Agency as a facilitator of jobs for the teeming youth of our country. In the first half of the year, about 90,000 beneficiaries were engaged, including 15,000 youth in community policing, 6,000 youth in community health, 1,500 in prison services, and 2,100 youth in garment and apparel. Mr. Speaker, as part of the preparation towards the conduct of the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, the Electoral Commission registered voters in 268 district offices and 775 electoral areas. The Commission also compiled the special voters list and managed applications for vote transfers and proxy voting. Mr. Speaker, during the first half of 2024, the National Commission for Civic Education carried out sensitization and awareness creation for a total number of 3.1 million people regarding the peaceful conduct of the 2024 general election. Mr. Speaker, as part of activities to effectively coordinate security coverage for the electoral activities this year, the Police Service has established the Police Election Security Secretariat under the authority of the National Election Security Task Force. Mr. Speaker, in line with our commitment to upholding the rule of law, we have constructed a 12-story state-of-the-art law house to accommodate the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice. This significant project, originally initiated by His Excellency the President during his tenure as Attorney General in 2001, was officially commissioned by him on June 10, 2024. Mr. Speaker, there has been a consistent reduction in irregularities reported by the Auditor General since 2020. Between 2022 and 2023, irregularities reduced by 32%, amounting to savings of about 5.2 billion Ghana cedis. Also, due to the policies, guidelines, and the PFM measures implemented by the Ministry of Finance, about 99.26% of all irregularities identified in 2023 by the Auditor General are recoverable. The Ministry of Finance is working with the Internal Audit Agency, the internal audit units, and audit committees to recover these amounts. Mr. Speaker, this economy has been anchored on the entrepreneurial spirit of our SMEs over the decades. They employ 80% of our people and contribute about 70% to GDP. However, SMEs continue to have challenges regarding access to finance, whilst limited access to technology and digital infrastructure and regulatory constraints as well. Mr. Speaker, as I indicated earlier, the SME Growth and Opportunity Program, SME Go, has been launched to connect SMEs with resources, expertise, and opportunities. Altogether, we've mobilized about 8.2 billion Ghana cedis through Development Bank Ghana, Ghana Exim Bank, Ghana Enterprise Agency, and other partners for SMEs to grow and increase competitiveness in regional markets. We are grateful to the IFC for the $400 million and to the Africa Development Bank for the $45 million support provided towards this program. We will also continue our collaboration with key institutions such as Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Ghana Commodity Exchange, the Venture Capital Trust Fund, GESA, NEP, MASLOC, and YEA to support the SME ecosystem in this new era of SME development. Mr. Speaker, we prioritize the agricultural sector due to its far-reaching impact on the economy and livelihoods. To improve our food security, we are implementing the Enhanced Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2. Through this program, we introduced the input credit system and adopted technology-driven platforms, enabling farmers and value chain actors to operate transparently and efficiently. Mr. Speaker, to support the private sector in enhancing fish and aquaculture production, we've scaled up the supply of premix fuel since January 2024. Additionally, we are also partnering with private enterprises and are providing employment to about 10,000 people to expand and venture further into aquaculture. Mr. Speaker, government has remained focused on expanding the economic enclave projects under the Ghana Cares program. We secured 50,000 acres of land to ensure security of tenure and de-risk agricultural investments, thereby attracting private sector involvement in the cultivation of rice, maize, soya, poultry, grains, vegetables, and animal husbandry. At the Kusunya EEP in the Greater Accra region, government has taken significant steps to de-risk private sector operations for the cultivation of rice, including the completion of 18 kilometers of feeder roads from Chopoli Junction on the main Accra-Ada route to the enclave, extension of 18 kilometers electricity to the enclave, development of a 20-kilometer irrigation canal for consistent water supply and year-round farming. Additionally, we have trained about 500 youths on agricultural entrepreneurship through a $6.1 million partnership with the MasterCard Foundation. These investments have
Honorable Minister, may you just have a short break? I will suspend.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sitting for 5 minutes. Take your breath, and I will ease up and come back in 5 minutes. Sitting is suspended for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister for Finance, you may continue. I'm told you are almost 90% complete.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to continue with my address. Mr. Speaker, government has remained focused on expanding the economic enclave projects under the Ghana Cares program. We secured 50,000 acres of land to ensure security of tenure and de-risk agricultural investment, thereby attracting private sector investment in the cultivation of rice, maize, soya, poultry, grains, vegetables, and animal husbandry. At the Kusunya Economic Enclave in the Greater Accra region, government has taken significant steps to de-risk private sector operations for the cultivation of rice, including the completion of 18 kilometers of feeder roads from Tripoli Junction on the main Accra-Ada road to the enclave, the extension of 18 kilometers electricity to the enclave, and the development of a 20-kilometer irrigation canal for consistent water supply and year-round farming. Additionally, train about 500 youth on agricultural entrepreneurship through a $6.1 million partnership with the MasterCard Foundation. These investments have resulted in 397.5 tons of rice harvested in the phase 1 of the project. They are also leveraging approximately $7 million in climate funds from the World Food Programme. Mr. Speaker, at Kumeu in the Ashanti region, we've developed and allocated 1,000 acres of land to build the largest poultry brooder house and hatchery in Ghana. Additionally, 600 acres of rice has been harvested and 300 acres of maize has been cultivated in the first season of production. Mr. Speaker, at Banda in the Otu region, 950 acres of land has been cleared and 40 kilometers of access roads has been constructed to the farm. 2 private sector actors are ready to start cultivation of yam, potato, and maize. Mr. Speaker, government will operationalize 2 new enclaves in Sunsong in the northern region and Yagaba in the northeast region. Mr. Speaker, to strengthen the digital skills for our youth under the Ghana Cares program, a digital youth skills hub is being constructed on a 5-acre plot at the University of Ghana. Phase 1 of the project is on course for completion by the end of the year. Mr. Speaker, under the trade and industry sector, we are committed to providing targeted support to pharmaceutical, textiles, and garments, as well as the automotive industries. Our efforts aim to attract new investments, expand job creation, and enhance value addition. Under our 1D1F flagship initiative, we've supported 321 factories across 142 districts nationwide, creating jobs for about 170,000 Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, Guided by the Strategic Anchor Industries Framework, 13 vehicle assembly plants has been established and 4,700 vehicles produced locally. We aim to penetrate the sub-regional market through the Africa Continental Free Trade Area framework and pursue local assembly of electric vehicles in line with our electric vehicle policy. Mr. Speaker, Ghana is being positioned as an internationally competitive tourism destination. Tourist arrivals have increased from about 500,000 in 2023 to almost 600,000 in the first half of 2024. This is an increase in several hundreds of thousands of tourists. And this has led to receipts of about $1.8 billion US compared to $1.5 billion over the same period last year. To complement this progress, we've enhanced tourism infrastructure, marketing, supply chain links through the redevelopment of key tourist sites such as Eburi Gardens, Ya'asantua Mausoleum, the Museum at Ejisu, and the Pikoro Slave Camp. Mr. Speaker, we have made significant progress in enhancing sports infrastructure, talent development, and ensuring that our athletes have the resources they need. Ghana successfully hosted the 13th African Games from the 4th to the 23rd March 2024 in Accra at the new International Standard Multi-Complex Sports Facility at Boteman and the newly commissioned University of Ghana Sports Stadium. We placed 6th in the medals table with a total of 69 medals, 19 gold, 29 silver, and 21 bronze. This is Ghana's best performance at an international multi-sport event so far. Mr. Speaker, the Black Challenge of Ghana also participated and won the trophy in the 2024 African Amputee Football Cup of Nations tournament, hosted and organized in Egypt. This win secured the team a spot at the 2026 Amputee World Cup tournament. Mr. Speaker, government continued to implement various social intervention programs to protect the poor and the vulnerable, to alleviate poverty and improve the country's human development indices. Speaker, there is empirical evidence that education is the great leveler that improves opportunities for any child along the social stratification. As UNICEF has already pointed out, education is a key social and cultural right and plays an important role in reducing poverty and child labor. Furthermore, education promotes democracy, peace, tolerance, development, and economic growth. Convinced about these objectives, government has over the last 8 years prioritized education. This is to ensure that over time, skills will be improved to protect and impact productivity, to grow the economy, and to improve living standards. Mr. Speaker, in 2008, His Excellency the President, then the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, announced the policy of free senior high school. And for 8 years, he kept his conviction. On 2nd March 2017, government allocated 400 million Ghana cedis to implement free senior high school. We also indicated that our oil resources will fund the program, as the President believes that every Ghanaian child must benefit from the oil resources of our country. The impact of the program is evident. To date, a total of over 9.9 billion Ghana cedis has been spent on the program, and a cumulative total of 5.7 million young people have benefited from this initiative, many of whom may not have had this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, to complement this effort, we provided facilities under TVET to empower our young people with employable skills, with 168,000 students enrolled in the 2023-2024 year. Additionally, we are constructing 10 STEM schools and 10 STEM centers across the country. We are also building the first 2 STEM colleges of education in Karga in the northern region and Tepa in the Ashanti region. We have distributed 900,000 tablets for secondary school students. Quality education has been given considerable focus, Mr. Speaker, because the performance of the students at WAXI in 2023 is also the best since 2015. Mr. Speaker, to ease the financial burden on parents and guardians of public basic school pupils, government disbursed about 38 million Ghana cedis as capitation grant for the first half of 2024 to have adequate resources to provide quality education. Additionally, funds have been released for the payment of feeding grants to all public schools, public special schools, institutions for the handicapped for the 2024 academic year, thereby further supporting the vulnerable students in our country. Mr. Speaker, it is worth noting that the capitation grant has increased from 5 Ghana cedis in 2016 to 15 Ghana cedis in 2024. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana School Feeding Program commenced in 2006-2007 with 1,950 beneficiaries. Over the years, there has been considerable growth of the program, from 1.6 million beneficiaries in 2016 to over 3.8 million beneficiaries in 2023, and is currently in the region of 4 million beneficiaries. In 1 year, Mr. Speaker, we have added over 200,000 students. Mr. Speaker, an amount of over 662 million Ghana cedis was paid to caterers as at the end of June 2024. The program continues to provide employment of over 34,000 caterers and cooks, especially women, to generate income to enable them to take care of their families. The program has also created a ready market for local farmers, thereby boosting the local economy. Mr. Speaker, to protect the real value of the benefits for most of our vulnerable households, government has, in the last 2 years, increased the LEAP grant from 64 Ghana cedis in 2020 to 256 Ghana cedis in 2024 per beneficiary, meaning that we have doubled the grant every year for the last 2 years. This measure ensures that the program's outcomes are effectively achieved. Under the enhanced LEAP, the number of beneficiary households has increased from 212,917 people in 2016 to 324,073 in 2024. Mr. Speaker, as part of government digitalization agenda, the e-health project is progressing steadily, with concentration on health centers and polyclinics this year. As of June 2024, a total of 49 polyclinics and 144 health centers have been connected, enhancing access to patient data at the point of care, claims management, and real-time biosurveillance data. This has significantly strengthened the country's health delivery system. Mr. Speaker, the following projects were completed between January and June 2024. The Urology and Nephrology Center of Excellence at the Kwalepu Teaching Hospital, district hospitals at Kumeu and Fomina, and CHIPS compounds at Debiso, Nkrofo, Denchira, Anani Krom, and Kwanyako, and many more CHIPS compounds across the country. Mr. Speaker, as part of government efforts to increase access to health service, the National Health Insurance Authority reviewed the benefit package to include childhood cancers, prostate cancer, mental health care, annual health check, dialysis services, and care for sickle cell patients. Mr. Speaker, by the end of 2024, the NHIS intends to increase enrollments from 14.5 million, representing 44.3% coverage, to 20.8 million, representing 63.5% of the population. NHIS will also intensify sensitization on the electronic enrollment platforms by introducing cashless payments, integration with GiveMix platform, e-receipts, and e-payments. Mr. Speaker, government continues to honor the payment of trainee allowances. A total amount of 290 million Ghana cedis was paid as allowances to 104,000 nursing trainees from January to June 2024. Similarly, a total of 216 million Ghana cedis has been released as allowances to 67,000 teacher trainees for the 2023-24 academic year. Mr. Speaker, government initiated the implementation of various activities towards achieving effective management and utilization of water resources, as well as improving the general water quality. Works progress steadily under the Water for All agenda. The following projects are completed: Ejura Water System, Wulensi Water System, and Bole Water System. The following are at various stages of completion: Wenchi Water Supply Project, Sekendita Gradi Water Supply Project, Keta Water Supply Project, Yendi Water Supply, Tamale Water Supply, Damongo Water Supply, Sunyani Water Supply, and Techiman Water Supply Project. Government is further committed to increasing access to improved sanitation and water supply in Greater Accra and Ashanti regions. A total of about 40,000 and 24,000 household sanitation were provided in the Greater Accra metropolitan area and the Greater Kumasi metropolitan area, respectively, benefiting over 400,000 people. Mr. Speaker, our people are burdened with long commutes and mountain stress due to the lack of decent and conveniently located housing. Government, in partnership with private developers and the banks, is looking at building high-rise, reasonable price accommodations within the cities of Accra and Kumasi, and in the future extend to other big cities. In the coming weeks, the Minister for Works and Housing will present the full housing reform package to the private sector at East Corp. Speaker, government during the first half of the year continued to implement the National Rental Assistance Scheme, which has benefited 2,074 individuals to date. Mr. Speaker, under the National Food Flood Control Program, over 1,000 kilometers of drains have been newly constructed, rechanneled, and maintained nationwide to reduce the impact of the perennial devastating floods. In addition, preparatory activities towards the construction of houses for households affected by the controlled spillage of the Akosombo Dam were completed following extensive engagement with stakeholders. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, I'm coming to conclusions. Mr. Speaker, we stand at the midpoint of 2024 with a strong economic performance and a brighter future. This mid-year fiscal policy review confirms our unwavering commitment to fiscal consolidation, economic growth, and protecting the vulnerable in our nation. Today, I've outlined the remarkable progress we've made in fiscal consolidation, rebounding, evidenced by the stability we have demonstrated. Our progress enables us to be confident about the future. This is the result of effective implementation of the policies and programs outlined in the 2024 budget. Together, Mr. Speaker, we have successfully navigated challenges in the last 7 months. We continue to stay the course and achieve successes with the IMF ECF program. We have concluded the external debt restructuring with the OCC, Eurobond holders, and key energy sector IPPs. We have kept our promise to DDEP bondholders with coupon payments. We've invested in our infrastructure, our people, and our future. And we've seized this opportunity to commence reforms in public financial management, financial sector, and state-owned enterprises. More importantly, we are rebuilding trust, we are regaining policy credibility, restoring confidence in the economy, and raising hope for our businesses and families. We are proving that quick recovery is possible. We are proving that growth with fiscal consolidation is possible. Mr. Speaker, this mindset of possibility is critical. That is what transforms individuals, families, and communities, businesses, and nations alike. It has been the same mindset that has guided our actions as a government since 2017. Mr. Speaker, it took a possibility mindset to expand and improve existing strategic social interventions to cater for the vulnerable in our society. That possibility mindset underpinned how we invested in the Ghana School Feeding Program to increase beneficiaries from about 1.6 million people in 2016 to about 3.8 million beneficiaries this year. Increased spending on LEAP from 49 million Ghana cedis in 2016 to 423 million Ghana cedis today to support 350,000 households, compared with 212,000 households in 2016. Increased spending on the NHIS from 1.1 billion Ghana cedis in 2016 to 6.5 billion Ghana cedis in 2024. And through digitalization, we've increased active membership from 10.8 million in 2018 to over 17 million people. We've increased the capitation grant per child from 5 Ghana cedis in 2016 to 15 Ghana cedis in 2024. We've increased the share of the District Assembly Common Fund to persons with disabilities by 50%. We've doubled the number of student loan recipients from 30,000 on average per year to 58,000 per year currently by removing the guarantor policy under the Student Loan Trust Fund. Mr. Speaker, this critical mindset of possibilities was our guide when we introduced the free senior high school program, which has increased total enrollment year on year from about 800,000 in the 2016-2017 academic year to 1.4 million in the 2023-2024 academic year. We introduced the National Rental Assistance Scheme to assist people with rent advance. Over 2,000 people so far. Introduced a medical drone delivery service and onboarded over 2,700 health facilities. Introduced mobile money interoperability, which has led to Ghana achieving 95% access in financial inclusion. Introduced the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program, which delivered 1,609 completed projects in all 275 constituencies. Introduced the Zongo Development Fund and constructed over 200 infrastructure projects in Zongo communities. Introduced the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, NEP, to support over 10,000 beneficiaries. And introduced the paperless system at the ports and digitalized the operations of the DVLA. Introduced the 1G1F initiative to diversify our economy. To date, 321 1G1F projects are at various stages of completion, with 169 fully functional and providing over 170,000 direct and indirect jobs. Introduced the Planting for Food and Jobs to provide critical inputs and improve food security. Instituted the Year of Return and Beyond the Return and the December in Ghana initiative to promote tourism. Created 6 new regions to deepen decentralization and participatory development. Mr. Speaker, that mindset of possibilities has enabled us to keep the lights on, to clear all accumulated BTAs up to 2022, constructing 120 courts with 80 completed and 150 bungalows for the judiciary. Necessary training allowances that were cancelled. Protect the deposits of 4.6 million Ghanaians by saving the banking system from collapse. Absorb examination examination fees for all students for BEC and WACC examinations. Guarantee access to the critical drug for sickle cell patients in Ghana. And this is the first of such initiative in Africa. Network and digitalize the records of all teaching, regional, and district hospitals in Ghana to ensure that referrals are possible without the patient's folder being physically transported. Implement the motor insurance database to enable verification of insurance status on mobile phones. Pass the Right to Information law. Distribute 20,000 LPG cookstoves and about 430,000 Japa stoves to promote clean cooking. Mr. Speaker, the same mindset of possibilities was present when we faced COVID in 2020. We demonstrated compassion to ensure that we paid public sector workers full wages even when revenue sharply declined, provided free water to all households for a year, provided free electricity to lifeline consumers and a 50% discount to other consumers for a whole year. It is important to note that between 2009 and 2016, the average annual increase in end-user electricity tariffs was 50% per year. Between 2017 and 2023, the average annual increase was 11.1%. We commenced Agenda 111 health infrastructure projects, and they are at various stages of completion. We rolled out the 750 million Ghana cedis CAP bus program to directly support micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. Established a 2 billion Ghana cedi guarantee to support all large enterprises and for job retention. Provided cooked meals to 27 million vulnerable persons and worked with faith-based organizations to distribute dry food packages to 470,000 families. Mr. Speaker, we also have demonstrated what this mindset of possibilities can achieve in the infrastructure space. We increased the road network from 78,000 kilometers to nearly 100,000 kilometers. We've invested significantly in road network expansion and improvement, including the construction of over 2,000 kilometers of asphaltic overlay, as well as the rehabilitation and maintenance of about 11,674 kilometers of roads. Completed the Tamale Interchange, Okwasi Interchange, Tema Motorway Interchange, Obichibi Lamte Interchange, Flower Pot Interchanges, and few others are under construction. We've completed and commissioned Prempeh, the first international airport, Yakubu Tali International Airport in Tamale, and Phase 1 of the Sunyani Airport rehabilitation. We restored the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, constructed 2 major fishing harbors in Elmina and Jamestown in Accra, completed the iconic Tema Mpakadam Railway, initiated the construction and rehabilitation of Achimota Nsawam, Accra Tema, Ojokrom Takwa, Ojokrom Mansu Railway, completed 6 abandoned Eurogate health sector projects and 3 other stalled projects we inherited, including Upper West Regional Hospital, Ga East Municipal Hospital, Tyne District Hospital, Tepa Municipal Hospital, Chief Uprasu District Hospital, Asante Akim Central District Hospital, Formina Hospital, Bepine Hospital, and Kumeu Hospital. We constructed sea defense projects to protect communities. We constructed sea defense projects to protect communities in Komenda, Ningo Prampram, Axim, Elmina, Anumabo, and Keta. We constructing forward operating bases to enable the armed forces to protect the territorial integrity of our land. Constructed 80,000 metric ton warehouses under One District, One Warehouse initiative. Constructed about 400 out of the 560 small egg dams in the 5 northern regions in fulfillment of the One Village, One Dam promise. Constructed more than 800 sanitation facilities. As a result, we have increased the proportion of the population with access to sanitary facilities from 33% in 2016 to 80.8%. This has resulted in a virtual elimination of cholera in Ghana. We completed the University of Ghana Stadium in Lagos. We built multi-purpose sports facilities at Botima for the African Games, as well as increased public astroturf in Ghana from 3 in 2016 to over 150 now. Extended more rural telephony network by increasing from 78 sites in 2016 to 1,008 sites today. Constructed libraries and have increased the total number of public libraries from 61 in 2017 to 115 by 2023. We've added 134.1 megawatt of renewable energy to our energy mix from a low of 37.7 megawatt in 2016. Mr. Speaker, we have used this critical mindset of possibilities to reposition our country for the future. Today, we are proud. We are the proud host of the Africa Continental Free Trade Secretariat and the Climate Vulnerable Forum Secretariat. In addition, we demonstrated our can-do spirit when we hosted the 13th African Games, the Africa Development Bank annual general meetings, and just last weekend, the 50th anniversary of Badia and the AU Summit. Clearly, Mr. Speaker, Ghana has become the destination of choice for international conferences. Mr. Speaker, we've also become a regional leader in digitalization, and we are preparing our citizens for the 4th Industrial Revolution. Mr. Speaker, these investments are historic and unprecedented. They make a significant difference in our lives as a nation. To achieve the core objective of economic transformation, we must keep at it. Mr. Speaker, we must complete this together. We will continue to prudently manage public finances and protect the vulnerable. We will support enterprises through our SME Go program, invest in agriculture to impact inflation, address food imports, and preserve forest exchange. We will invest in roads that advance trade integration and productivity. We will improve housing delivery and optimize land use. We will promote the digitalization drive to improve service delivery. Mr. Speaker, we must do this for the sake of the market women who promote trade in our country. We must do this for the future of school children and young graduates. We must do this to support working parents to build their families. We must do this to enable our businesses set up and step out to take advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We must do this to protect and care for widows, the aged, and the disadvantaged in our society. We must do this because it is possible. A lot more is possible. Mr. Speaker, we are using this same mindset of possibilities to confront the economic challenges we have faced. Already, we are seeing results. In this mid-year fiscal policy review, we are not seeking additional resources to spend. Rather, we are trying to stay the course within appropriation. Our progress has informed our proposal to reinstate the fiscal rule on the 5% deficit threshold, which we suspended in 2020, and we expect this to take effect in 2025. Let us continue this path with hope and the unwavering belief that together we can achieve greatness. We are building a Ghana that is more inclusive, that is more sustainable, and that is more transformed. Let us rise to the challenge. Let us work together and let us build a future that is worthy of our highest aspirations. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, I want to express immense gratitude to Allah for His grace, for His mercy. he has continued to be generous to me, to my ministry, and to our nation. Even as one of your own, I do not take for granted the support this House continues to give me. I want to acknowledge my predecessor, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Ken Oforiatta, for his leadership and dedication of service in the Ministry of Finance. Mr. Speaker, this is important. I want to also extend a special appreciation to the good people of Karaga constituency. I know that their overwhelming support has been vital in serving our country and our constituency. Right, Honorable Speaker, let me once again express my sincere appreciation for the opportunity to present the 2024 Mid-Year Fiscal Review to this august House. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I thank you, honorable members of this great House. And may the Almighty Allah bless us all, bless our homeland Ghana, and make us great and strong. Thank you. Uncle.
Honorable members, before I admit comments to the statement that has been made, permit me to acknowledge the presence of more visitors. We have a group by name Abantu for Development, coming from the Ga West constituency. They are led by the group leader, Helen Kwanzaa. There are 15 in number. They are visiting us to see what we do. Luckily, they've seen the presentation of the mid-year budget review. On your behalf, I warmly welcome them to Parliament of Ghana. You are welcome. We also have with us the students from the University of Education, Winneba, properly called Windy Bay. Windy Bay. Yes. It's a struggle to pronounce Windy Bay that is now known as Winneba. They are 128 in number, and they are being led by the political science students president, by name Michael Yeboah. And this university, as you all know, is located in the Efutu constituency, now occupied by the majority leader. And so this is the handiwork of the majority leader, bringing as many as 128 students from the University of Education. You are warmly welcome to Parliament, and you've witnessed how the media review budget has been presented. It's a statement, and now please kindly resume your seats. We're getting to the end of the day. A statement has been made, and I want to know the pleasure of the House, whether we will start with the comments today or we'll start tomorrow. If we are starting today, how many to take today and how many tomorrow? Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for calling upon me to give an indication to the House as to what we intend to do with the statement. Mr. Speaker, first of all, since we have students here, it's important to refer to Order 91.1 and 91.3 of the rules of this House. What the Minister has just done is well rooted in our rules. That, with your leave, Mr. Speaker, I shall read Order 91.2, that the Minister of State may make a statement of government policy, and the statement shall A, be limited to facts which are necessary to be made known to the House, B, not contain matters that are likely to provoke debate, and 3, a member may comment on the statement, and the comment shall not provoke debate. Mr. Speaker, so the statement, as we all know, was limited to known facts. Mr. Speaker, for instance, the Minister has walked us through some major interventions. One, that the school feeding program, which was previously being patronized by 1.6 million Ghanaian children, is now being patronized by 4 million Ghanaian children. In other words, 4 million Ghanaian vulnerable children are benefiting from the school feeding program. Mr. Speaker, again, the Minister has simply told us that today, 2024 budget, 6.5 billion has been allocated for the NHIS, as compared to 1.6 billion in 2016 by those who are in opposition today. I mean the John Mahama government. Mr. Speaker, leap. These are mere comments, introduction. These are not debates. Mr. Speaker, leap. Mr. Speaker, leap. As of 2016, when they left and they couldn't perform and they left, it was just 49 million that they spent. Mr. Speaker, today government is spending 423 million Ghana cedis to cover many people, many of our vulnerable. Mr. Speaker, it is also clear that in 2015-2016, they made some provision in the budget to support education. At the end of the academic year, they had released only 12 million out of the 25 million that they allocated. Mr. Speaker, it is clear from the minister's statement that as of today, government is spending in excess of 400 million Ghana cedis on education. That is the free SHS, which they couldn't implement. Mr. Speaker, these are not matters for debate. These are facts. Mr. Speaker, the IMF program, the minister has said it, and Mr. Speaker, nobody had any cause to question the minister when he said, we are on course with the IMF program. We are on course as compared to 2016, when around this time the IMF came and packed off. The program at the time had derailed because our friends who are in opposition today and were in government at the time could not live up to expectation. Mr. Speaker, the minister has told us
that the country must be rest assured the economy is in competent hands. The economy is in the hands of those who understand how to bring back an economy. Mr. Speaker, they have nothing to say. And I'm cautioning the minority leader who is likely to get up after me that don't introduce unnecessary debate. Limit yourself to the facts. Because the rules, Mr. Speaker, per the rules, he is not supposed to debate. He should know that. In any event, if they are ready for us to comment, Mr. Speaker, we are ready today. Yeah. We want to comment on the minister's statement. But looking at them, they are not ready. Mr. Speaker, looking at them, they are not ready. You guys are not ready. I can see from your faces. You are not ready. Mr. Speaker, they are not ready for the statement, the comment on the statement. Mr. Speaker, they are not ready. They are not ready. So, Mr. Speaker, we know that now they are studying Eastern economy. Yes. They've been to Russia to study how the Russians do their things. We are also here. We are looking at local
please, issues. I see the honorable member for Prote Kole on her feet. Is your leader out of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I believe that it's unfair of the majority leader to assume and point fingers, yes, as the leader of the House, by creating division, by pointing at us and saying we are not ready to debate. You have not spoken to our leadership to inquire as to whether we are ready. So I believe that concluding that this side of the House is not ready, I think is unfair, Mr. Speaker, yes. And we should withdraw that. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Speaker, if they are ready on the comment, not debate. Dr. Forson, minority leader, honorable minority leader, Mr. Speaker, if they are ready for us to comment on the statement, then, Mr. Speaker, I would urge them to comply with the rules. Mr. Speaker, if they want us to proceed, I want them to be guided by the rules of this House. Only comment. Only comment. But in any event, you may want more copies of the statement. You may want more copies of the statement. If you need more copies, we'll give more copies to you, so that you can limit yourself to the statement. Mr. Speaker, having said this, I would want to strongly suggest that we take an adjournment to enable them prepare. I accordingly move that this House be adjourned to tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the forenoon, which time would afford them an opportunity to prepare and come with their comment on this statement, ably delivered by the Minister of Finance. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Yes, minority leader.
Mr. Speaker, I heard my colleagues singing Abemewie, but I just want to say that indeed, Abemewie, you're on your way to opposition. You're on your way to opposition. Mr. Speaker, at the very least, Ghanaians expected that this media review would have removed or abolished a number of taxes. A number of taxes that has made Ghana a high tax regime to the extent that businesses are moving out of our country and the ordinary Ghanaian is actually leaving the shores of this country. For example, COVID levy, e-levy,
Yes.
boiler tax, tax on domestic electricity, emission levy. Mr. Speaker, this is a missed opportunity. This is a missed opportunity. Mr. Speaker, instead, the minister did not announce one single new policy.
No, sir.
The minister did not introduce new ideas. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, Ghana is on autopilot. Our economy is on autopilot.
No leadership.
Mr. Speaker, I'm shocked today to have noticed that Appendix 2A, page 107 of the Minister's Media Review and Economic Policy. This government has already missed IMF program already. Mr. Speaker, they have missed the target already. Mr. Speaker, I refer you to Appendix 2A above the line. Arrest clearance. Arrest clearance. Above the line. This government, contrary to the IMF program that we should not accumulate any arrests, have accumulated new arrests worth 4.5 billion Ghana cedis. And you are here saying what? That we have. Mr. Speaker, let me read. Mr. Speaker, let me read. Let me read. Arrest payables. Arrest clearance. Mr. Speaker, in the original budget, this government has programmed zero for the first half of the year. Meanwhile, in the media review, Appendix 2A, provisional, they have actually incurred new arrests worth 4.5 billion Ghana cedis. And you are saying what? Mr. Speaker, we are ready to debate now. Now. Mr. Speaker, let me assure him that, Mr. Speaker, we are ready. The troops are here. Honorable Adongo is ready. Honorable Tinapua is ready. Honorable Ampin is ready. Mr. Speaker, at the moment, we have 10 members ready to debate now. Today. Mr. Speaker, I am not surprised. But all what I want to tell them is that they are bereft of new ideas, and that I'm happy that they sang Abemerie, you're on your way to opposition. So, Speaker, I second the motion.
Honorable members, what we just heard from the Minister for Finance came under item 6, statements. It says media review of the budget statement and economic policy of the government of Ghana for the 2024 financial year. The minister premised the statement as stated in paragraph 2 that this media fiscal policy review presentation is in fulfillment of section 28 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. And so what is going to happen definitely is the determinants of these two. It's a statement coming under a provision of an act. I see that members want to go beyond that. I will determine at any time whether we should engage on debate or statement that is comments. The majority leader, in trying to make his comment, made statements that seem to have provoked debate. And the minority leader is responding, and therefore setting his tone, the tone for a debate. But this is a statement. And you have to make comments. I don't know whether this is one of the special opportunities for us to go beyond, because that too is allowed by the standing orders. There are type of statements that can go beyond the general statement that you make comments. Whether it's the pleasure of the House for us to go beyond that. Because when you go through the standing orders, there are different types of statements. But the new standing orders, there's no space for debate. If the statement is not the ordinary statement, but the statement itself provokes debate, definitely the comments will be responding to the what? Debates. So we will be guided by the fact that it's a statement. I hope that members will be drawing our attention to the areas that are not normal statements, but statements that have shown that there is
I'm not interrupting you. But just to draw your attention that...
what are you then doing?
Today we're told that...
You say you are not interrupting me.
No.
But what are you doing now?
No, you just told me. Is to engage with you. But this is just a short comment. That we were told that majority leader... when he was talking, I just wanted to tell you that today we're told that he's now leader emeritus. And I want to remind him that being the longest serving member of this House before he became Speaker, you're also Speaker emeritus. So the discussion being done was emeritus versus emeritus. But Mr. Speaker, you didn't give any ruling. So that's why I was inviting you to rule on him. His matter.
Leader emeritus. He is my junior brother, so we leave it at that. So we will look at it, because if the statements, Mr., have gone beyond the earlier approval we gave to the budget, it means it's raising debatable issues. And so in your comments, I'll be very, very vigilant to see whether it's debating an issue that he has raised, which we hadn't earlier on given approval. That is what we'll be looking at. There are new standing orders. We'll try through the practice to see whether there are some rough edges for us to smoothen. But generally, these are not matters open to debate. But we may, in looking at the numbers, particularly the data and the language of the presentation, come out with where there are debatable issues or not. But it's not the whole presentation that is open to debate. So we'll be guided by the rules, and as we practice, we'll do our best to make it smooth for all of us. Yes, Leader Emeritus. Now you have a new title.
Mr. Speaker, I think what you have heard today should open our eyes to something that we have not thought of before. Because the orders provide for debating budgets. And that is from Order 193, Financial Procedure. Now, we are limited just to the budget and supplementary estimates, not what we have experienced now. That's a review, which does not come with supplementary budget. So maybe with this, Parliament will take a cue to see what must be done when there is a mid-year review that is not accompanied by supplementary estimates. As for, and of course, by that, what is come before us to do is to submit a statement. And the statement also does not lend itself to a debate. And Mr. Speaker, I see that you are struggling to create space for a debate on a statement. And that is why I'm saying that perhaps as a House, we need to look at it again. Now that we are going through the formative years of the application of the new standing orders, maybe we may have to have a second look at it. Because there's no space for a debate on a review that has not come with a supplementary budget. That's the difficulty. So we should have a second look at that.
Honourable members, you don't need to start the debate because the same standing orders are clear. Who has the power to interpret? Is the Speaker. Who has the power to interpret the standing orders? Is the Speaker. Now, even the word itself, debate. What constitutes debate? You will determine or I will determine. It's the Speaker who will determine what constitutes debate. So you have no case. Leader Emeritus, all what you have said is for me to determine. Yes, so members, you want me to hear you because we are going to adjourn so that we can continue tomorrow. Yes, Honorable Mohammed Amin.
Mr. Speaker, just to add that by our own standing orders, if we have failed to make provisions in our standing orders, once again, Mr. Speaker is empowered to make provisions to guide us. So apart from you determining whether it is debate or not debate, you can also improvise for the House if we haven't made provision for it in our standing orders.
Exactly so. So all this is in my bosom. You can, after I have decided, contest it anywhere. But in the first instance, it's in my bosom to decide. You can contest it. It's allowed either on the floor of this House or outside this House in the courts. But to start with, I am in charge. We will proceed to adjourn proceedings so that we can come tomorrow after conclave with leadership to set the rules for what is going to happen to the submission by the Minister for Finance. In the absence of any other matter, I proceed to adjourn the House. The House is accordingly adjourned to 10 in the forenoon tomorrow. Yes, the House is adjourned.